Jim Rudderham is the Director of Fleet and Forest Protection with the Department of Natural Resources and Renewables. Well, as you know, Nova Scotia had its most devastating wildfire season last year. As this new season begins, what are your biggest concerns?
For that to happen again. We certainly don't want that to ever happen again. So hope everyone remembers that. And I know we're all prepared, and hope everyone else, if they're going to have a fire outside or whatever they decide to do, they're very safe and they follow our burn safe restrictions.
Well, can you talk to me about what the conditions are like right now?
Right now, most of the province is free of snow. There are places, of course, that still have snow, but the majority of it is free of snow, which means, well, snow does not burn. Snow doesn't burn, so that's always good. But it's still damp in the province, which is nice as well. But it only takes a few days of warm, dry weather with a little bit of wind to make those surface fuels very volatile, and they'll burn very quickly. So that's our concern right now.
I know Cape Breton, other parts of the province got a lot of snow, but there are other sections, southwest Nova Scotia that didn't get very much.
Yeah.
Is that a concern?
It is, of course, yes. Even the areas that received a lot of snow, that snow was gone as well. And in the west, we didn't have near as much snow in the west, and that's been gone for quite some time. So again, yesterday was a nice warm day in the province. The fuels start to dry out very quickly, the grasses and stuff on top of the surface. So it's always a concern. A few days of that in a row, and we will start to get fires.
Now, we had so much rain following the wildfires. Did that have any impact?
Well, I'm sure it filled up our water table, which is always good. But again, at a certain point, the ground just gets so saturated, it doesn't hold any more water, and it runs off. But again, even if the ground is full of water, the surface fuels can still get very dry, and they burn quite readily. So,
well, have there been some lessons learned from 2023?
Well, every time you go into an incident, you certainly learn stuff. I think the biggest learn for our department was that we have a portion of our department is actively and always works with fighting wildfires. Last year, we were very strained, of course, and a lot of our department that normally wasn't involved in fighting wildfires were activated to help with the wildfires. So they have that experience now, and they have that knowledge and that awareness. So if it were to happen again, there is a plus that way, that we have a lot of more people now that are aware of what they can and cannot do and where they can help out the best for us. That's good.
So you feel you have adequate resources if, heaven forbid, we end up in a similar situation?
Well, every agency has enough resources for the normal times. Last spring, of course, was not normal for us, like it wasn't for a lot of other agencies across the country as well. So we can only really get ready for the norm, and as the norm changes, of course, we'll expand and contract to that. But right now, I know we're ready, and hopefully we won't have to be as ready as we were last year ever again.
Now, besides the daily burning restrictions, what else do you want Nova Scotians to be aware of as we go into wildfire season?
Well, I think that's what we like to focus on. Those daily restrictions, they're not set as a whim. They're set based on science. They're based on weather readings from all around the province. For each county, we're very confident of the data we receive from those weather stations, and that's how we set the burn restrictions. And it's not just that particular day; it's a cumulative reading that weather stations record this, and it's built on a database that tells us how dry all the fuels will get, and that's what makes us know when fires burn really deep into the ground, because those fuels are dry as well too. So it's very important that people pay attention to the restrictions, and if they plan to do anything outside with an open flame, be sure to follow those restrictions and be very careful. Not just follow the restrictions, but make sure that if you do have an open fire, you know how to put it out, you can put it out, and if something were to happen, you have a way to call someone to help. So there's a lot of, you have to be prepared if you're going to have an open fire, and you have to be ready for that. Everyone has to do their part to make us all safe.
All right, well, we'll leave it there. Jim Rudderham, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.